Here's my vibe. I'm gonna give you my vibe politics right now. You ready?
Yeah,
This might
yeah.
be totally retarded. I haven't. You know more about the electoral politics stuff than I do. Um, my vibe politics is that generally the Democratic Socialist platforms I think are really retarded, and the people that are winning, or the candidates that are winning, are typically winning in areas that are really blue to begin with. So they're not really going to be effective at all in more contested districts and states, right?
Mhm.
Um, Policies probably are either going to be milk toast when they're actually get enacted, or they're going to be dog shit, which is only going to hurt Democrats probably more when their policies don't work. If they do work, then okay, whether that's something to add to the toolkit of like tools to use, I'm not against that. Now my thing here is when it gets to actually voting between a DSA candidate and a Republican, my vibe is I'm always going to vote for the DSA candidate. Do we disagree there? Or do we agree there?
I don't think I could make the choice where I would vote for two. I could cast my ballot where both options are actually terrible. I'm not saying that like not picking the lesser of two evils. I think these both candidates are so contrary to what I believe that I don't think I could actually vote for either. I don't mean it like in a like they're not liberals. Neither of these candidates are liberal, so I don't think I could vote for either of them.
Okay. I guess I do come from it at it from the lesser two evils thing. I don't think that I could be wrong, but I don't think that the DSA people are like um going to be able to enact a really crazy, oh, we're gonna take your private property away. Now you
Mhm.
could argue that over time, if there's enough of them in power, they can inch their way towards doing something like that. I agree. That could possibly happen. But I think right now, like they're less destructive than Trump Republicans, so I'd probably just vote for them. Um,
Mm.
which is kind of where I'm at.
Well,
Because like I mean, yeah.
I was gonna say, I would think that any DSA candidate winning legitimizes them more in people's eyes, and I wouldn't want to help contribute to that.
Possibly, but that's the thing too, is like I said, if their policies are kind of milk toast or suck dog shit, then I don't think they'll really get that far. And if their policies do work, then I don't and it's probably a fight in the primaries of like trying to enact things that actually work, but like pushing back on the crazy far left bent that they go on.
Hmm.
Um
I think I
Mind you, yeah.
Oh, so the way I would cut it down is maybe for Senate, I think I would still vote for a DSA candidate over a MAGA candidate. For anything like governor, I don't think I'd vote for a DSA candidate. For things like I don't know, governor and mm, I think no, I think even in the House, I might still vote for a DSA candidate. I heard it. No, in the governorship and in like a House seat, I wouldn't, but for Senate, I would. That's the way I break it down.
Okay. Um it might be at odds here. I think I would just vote for them until like I had like evidence that they were either equally bad, I guess, as Republicans. Because I'm also thinking too, like in these like smaller like local like sorry, in these like small elections too, I would vote for them because like I think that for the most part, it's probably still true that like your local politics affect you more than like your national politics. So I think I'd still be inclined to vote for the DSA people.
Hmm.
Now I might be coming at it because I think this is more like a flash in the pan than like a something that's going to be big in the future. But I could be totally wrong about that. But at the end of the day, like I don't see because to me the other option is just kind of like letting like not voting for Democrats to be like seating more ground to Republicans. And I think that like, oh well, like if we just like don't vote and Republicans take over, like I don't think that's good. I think that puts your side in a worse um and you're in a worse like position. But then you could also say like, well, I don't even see the DSA or like if the DSA takes over the party, I don't see them as my side anyway, which could be good, which could maybe happen eventually. I'm
That's
not saying
kind
it
of how
shouldn't.
I see it, and also I think I really does feel like it sends the wrong message to uh kind of everyone when these people like DSA candidates, you know, they never vote for a Democrat, and they'll make fun of and attack uh, regular moderate Democrats because they're not as crazy as them. But uh, the second like the second they get a candidate past the primary, it becomes you guys have to vote for us. Like, what's going on? Like, why are you guys not backing us up? Or why are like you just, the things you see all the time where uh they'll make fun of you for saying vote blue no matter who, but then they'll like and they'll be like, I vote with my conscience. I don't vote for just someone that has a blue candidate next or a blue ticket next to them. And then they uh but then again when it's their candidate, it's like what happened to vote blue no matter who gets like, well, we tried that and you guys decided that your high horse was way more important. And it's like I don't think you guys should be rewarded for uh basically getting us to the position where we are now. Uh,
Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll amend my position a little bit. Maybe my position wouldn't be so much. Okay, here's maybe my position then.
mhm.
Because I think by the fact that they're only winning in really heavily blue areas. Um. Okay. So let's say we have two areas. One is like a +30 Democrat, like partisan voter index area, right?
Mhm.
Let's say the other one is like, I don't know, like +2 or something close. I don't know. That's quite close, right? So
Yeah.
+2. If it comes down to Republican or the DSA candidate who's running as a Democrat in the +2 area, I'm voting DSA. If it comes to the areas they're actually winning in right now, which is the high voter index areas for Democrats, then I'll just vote. I just won't vote probably. I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't see this. Maybe I'm being I could be being naive right now. I don't see this being like a big thing. I really do. Do you see what I'm saying? Of like, once they actually start doing, if their policies work, then it's stuff we can adopt. But if it, I don't think a lot of them are going to be feasible or work. And I think it's just going to be more the status quo or worse. And so they'll just kind of fizzle out. It's my idea. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I see what you're saying. It's just we kind of already had an example with Trump about no one took this guy seriously. This guy, everyone in the Republican Party is laughing at him, and then all of a sudden he wins every fucking primary election, or he wins all the things. Or he didn't win all of them. I think he lost one in originally, but like he wins the primary, and then everyone decides to like fucking just follow him to the ends of the fucking earth. So we've
Oh,
seen it happen in. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I take them. I don't not take them seriously. I'm just saying that like I don't know how um their popularity could spread beyond a certain point. Because
Mm.
I do think the policies. I mean, like I said, I mean people are dumb though. But I just think the policies are so kind of whatever that I don't know. I don't see them being that big, but I guess they could.
Okay, so let me put it like this: like, uh, if they are, if they're able to like hide their, I guess hide their power level to be more of a like, why are you guys attacking us? Like, attack the Republican, right? One that's like a hypocritical standard because they always attack Democrats, not moderates, right? And two, like their ability to hide their power level of like we don't want that much of extreme stuff. We just want like to get people like health care, like raise the federal minimum wage, or like stronger unions, or whatever the fuck. And they're able to like ride that wave into more like moderate areas, and then from there take over the party because it's like we're not socialists. We're just like we just want healthcare, and then that causes them to gain more influence or something among in the party and eventually take it over. Like that's kind of the concern.
Yeah.
I don't know if like I think it's warranted considering the fact that we kind of saw how Trump did that with the Republican Party. I
Yeah.
think the kind of same sentiment can be taken from under the DSA to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and I mean I agree. I just think that the ways that you fight that are primarying hard against them, and then like I guess, maybe not voting or sending a message you're not going to vote in like these super blue areas. But I do think that Republicans become until the Democrats become worse than Republicans, I just think in these like contested areas, I think we still have to vote blue. Um,
Okay.
is my thought right now. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not happy about it. I don't like I think the social policies suck. I really don't like. I mean, yeah, just the fucking God, just oh god, the cringe of like, oh, like because me and my brother was like I said, me and my brother were like talking about this too, and it's just like I hate the cringe of like, oh, we have to have this government run thing, we're gonna nationalize this thing. It's like, why don't we like see if we actually need to do this stuff before we like start just saying like, oh, we need to do this X, Y, or Z thing. Like, why don't we actually investigate? Like, oh, like, is this actually a good idea? Like, would this make things better for people, or like maybe the market just solves better for this particular thing. We just let the market do its thing here, and then we like refocus our like efforts for nationalization of other things or taxation dollars towards government programs or social programs for things we actually need it for. Like, why do we need to like make everything some big national industry? It seems kind of retarded. Um, and then like the like they bring up like China. It's like, oh my god, like the China meme is so I don't even. I'll tell you something I hate about this. I remember when I first talked to you about history stuff,
Yeah.
like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
My thing was I wanted to know everything about China. Do you remember that?
I
I
do.
had a bunch of Chinese history books. I hate right when I want to become the China guy. I'm like I haven't been practicing a little bit or since lately, but I was like learning Mandarin. I was like learning about Chinese history and Chinese like econ throughout history and stuff like that. And then like everyone became like the biggest China simp ever. Like so many people I saw like on like Instagram like, oh, you gotta start going to China, like it's like the new thing, or like, oh, like look at the Chinese economy, blah, blah, blah. People don't realize like China's cool and all, but like their fucking government sucks and their economy, like they have the biggest youth unemployment, I think out of, I mean, I think their youth unemployment right now is like 12%. And their housing market's fucking dog shit because of the government there. Like, it's one of those things of like, I can't even like think about like, oh, like I want to go research this thing because like so many people just like jerk off China so much. And it's so cringe. And their takes are so bad about China. But all I hear is like these DSA people be like, oh, we gotta be more like China. It's like, dude, there's a reason why the state-owned enterprises are called zombie corporations by a lot of economists. Like it's not everything it's cracked up to be. Like, I don't know. It just makes me cringe. That's a totally off topic, but that just makes me cringe a lot. But yeah, I don't know. The positions that these candidates have, I just think are stupid, and I don't like them. But like, I guess I have to wait till they become worse than Republicans. As cucked as that sounds, I guess.
Well, I mean, I do think that it sucks because Congress has really just given away all its power under the Republican administration. But I do think this whole Trump stuff, it's fizzling out very hard, and I do worry that the DSA, with their more populist rhetoric, are able to capitalize on it. Even though, I mean, there are like the two people I name dropped in the thing, Afti Ben, or whatever however the fuck you say her name, and
Yeah,
Kat. I don't even know how to. I wouldn't. I don't want to try to say that last name. Um, they lost pretty heavily in their fucking elections,
yeah,
but that was a year ago before the full Iran war stuff. So it's like I, I do think that they're kind of capable of sweeping up that momentum because I think Democratic leadership they kind of it's not their fault. It's not their fault that everything is hostile towards Democrats, but like they're not able to capitalize on it because
yeah.
everything's hostile towards them. But so yeah, that's my worry, and that's why I wouldn't want to like vote for them. Um, even though like Trump still has like a pretty high favorability rating amongst Republicans, I just a lot of independents. I think they could be easily swayed because DSA people they say the same things that Trump says, where it's like
Yeah, it's populist.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my worry, and I think we're in a time where populist rhetoric is very extreme and getting everyone likes it. Yeah, everyone likes it, and you know, it's hard when
Well,
you're.
I think I told you before, like Democrats have to be able to use populist rhetoric in their favor more, and but actually have it backed up by good policy positions. I think is that what that looks like. I mean, I think I told you one example would be like, with the Trump gas prices, like Democrats should be going out with stickers and putting them on, like what the Trump supporters did, like, oh, I did this, and it's just Trump pointing to the gas price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or just like, I don't know, just using like catchy slogans like socialists do. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think your fears are unfounded. I totally understand the position. I just, my own like calculus, I need to know like is it going to be worse than a Trump supporting Republican?
Mm.
But I think I think in the contested areas it makes sense, in my opinion, to vote for the DSA guy until the Trump guy becomes worse, or sorry, the DSA guy becomes worse than the Trump guy. But in the heavily blue districts where these people are actually winning at, they probably just don't either do a write-in or don't vote, or I guess in your case, vote third party or whatnot. Um,
Mm.
but I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Well, I guess let me picture it. We're gonna be done after this because we can talk about the the nuclear deal. But say, do you think Trump's like out after this election? As in, like his movement is kind of gonna lose a lot of steam.
If he's gone, yeah, I think his movement is basically akin to a like Hitler style movement where he's like just the big figurehead, and then I think he's gonna. I think they're gonna be there. Those people, the Trumpers, will be there still, but I think their movement will be very much divided
Okay,
when
and
they have to vote again. Yeah,
so from that, and also we saw in all the special elections that were last year, um,
yeah,
he I don't think he won many of them except for like the few where the DSA candidates were running, or like Aft Ben or whatever the fuck.
sure,
So like he lost most of his special elections, right? Um,
yeah.
and I think fuck, was that like from that analysis of like, oh yeah, this guy's out. Like even if he wants to run for a third term, as long as he doesn't like fuck with the actual election, like
Yeah.
he's gonna lose. And it's just about like he's gonna do a lot of damage now, which sucks. But say like if he does a lot of damage, but like our state still survives, hopefully. Now we have a bunch of DSA candidates in the Democratic Party and also in positions of power. Um, it's kind of like after that, what's gonna happen? And that's kind of where I'm worried. And like you said, like you can be hopeful or maybe like, they'll moderate or like they'll get elected out because their positions suck. Um, and that's possible. I'm not gonna deny it's not impossible. Uh, but I'm more so from the side of like they could use this time period to gain a lot more power than they deserve, which is why I'm like I would vote third party.
Okay, I see. I see what you're saying. Is like, well, Trump's out. He doesn't like steal the election, which he might.
Yeah.
um, might definitely do that. Then you're saying because the movement's kind of fizzling out, and I've agreed to that already. Movement's fizzling out, that having Republicans that are Trump Republicans wouldn't be that bad because the Trump movement kind of dies. Then all we've done really is we've gotten more DSA candidates, if it's a contested area, more DSA candidates in areas that could have just gone to the Trump Republican with a dying movement, not the DSA movement that could be like on the rise. Like I understand the argument.
Oh
I
wait,
don't.
just one more step, one more
Oh,
step. Because if more Trump Republicans get in, it's more cause to
yeah.
be like this is Trump's plan or economy or like this is everything that's going on is from the Trump regime, and we could use that even more so to like, hey, we didn't win. Like Democrats were not in power. This is all Republicans. Vote for Democrats. And like I think that's another step where if the um in this election in the next coming elections, if DSA candidates win and stuff still gets kind of bad, I feel Republicans can use that more as like their bounce back. I was like, guys, that was MAGA, not Republicans. That was like, look at all these DSA candidates. Like, you guys gotta, we can clean it up because we're just regular Republicans, not like these crazy liberals or like the crazy MAGA, and they can win and they'll get like Republicans suck. They suck less than MAGA, but they still suck, and that's what I'm afraid of as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost inclined to agree with you, but I just feel like the accelerationism stuff is what kind of sounds like a little bit. Not saying that you're like for that forever, but how, like that's what like the far left people did
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Trump.
yeah.
Um, I just don't think that really works. That's the thing is I don't know. I'll give you an example, right?
Yeah,
Like you're appealing to people that are like you're assuming are like rational. Like look at like the last election, right? People got pissed off at Biden for prices being high because of inflation from COVID that Trump failed to do anything really about at all, and Biden had to take care of, and people crucified. Well, I know Biden he dropped out and Kamala blah blah blah, but like both, but Kamala was seen as an extension of Biden. Do we agree with that?
yeah, I agree.
Like the fact that people crucified that admin for that when it was something that like just happened, like inflation was just bad and prices remain high. Like that's what happens when you have something that like a crazy thing like COVID happening. Um, but for people that like to think that like a voter is going to say, okay, well, Republicans are mainly in charge here, and because of that, we all need to go out and vote. Which I don't even know how like it probably would suck, but like think about like Republicans group right now on the party, even with like the U.S. run war with like high inflation, with high prices still. Like, I just don't know if appealing to people's rationality and ceding our own territory in a sense would yield the best results. Do you see what I'm saying, or am I not making a clear enough point?
Um, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Sure. Okay.
I
What
think
I
I
mean,
understand what you're saying, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to read this article at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, so my point is this: is that if you had take a time when or sorry, let me back up way up. Okay, look at Biden's admin. Okay, under Biden's admin, COVID-19, he had to tame COVID-19. COVID-19 led to high inflation. Do we agree?
Yeah,
And that means high prices, right? So those high prices stuck around, and people crucified the admin because of the economy. Because remember, Trump's whole thing was like, "Oh, I'm going to lower the price of everything."
yeah,
And he didn't do that. Okay, people, but that's that. But to understand why people fell for the Trump, you know, rhetoric there is because people aren't rational. And they don't understand the systems that are around them. In my opinion, Biden did a great job taming COVID. I think it was like the shortest bout of inflation we had, like in I think in like U.S. history. So he did a good job, or at least his admin did a good job. Um, I only say sorry, I didn't say Biden because I know like a lot of that's monetary policy. So it's
mhm,
the Federal Reserve. Yeah, but whatever. So but there and yeah, so there was a thing that had to be an event that had to be taken care of before things get better. And when it comes to your tactic of saying, okay, well, because the Trump admin's on the way out, we can allow Trump Republicans to take charge of these areas if it's the DSA candidates. Like if the DSA candidates are the only thing stopping us from Trump people taking over, we'll let the Trump people win because if we let the Trump people win and stuff is still going south, we can use it as a weapon to say, okay, well, the country went south under Trump Republicans and not Democrats. So now we have to go out and vote for Democrats and get them in office. Where the reverse might be, okay, like what you said is, okay, if the DSA candidates win and shit goes south, well, then people are just getting more invigorated to vote for Republicans. But my thing though is that like we're assuming that people are super rational, and it could just be that maybe Republicans do take over and or well, yeah, do win those areas. And I don't know, either we like kind of stay level or we get a little bit better because maybe Trump isn't fucking got us in another war somewhere. I don't know how long this war is going to last for or what's happening in Iran right now. But like, it could just be the Republicans just, I don't know, we just win another election because things got better. Prices went down. Maybe I don't know what happened in the future. I can't predict the future, but prices went down. So we're gonna vote for these guys, and maybe even if Trump admin is on the way out, I think those Republicans, like if they're Trump Republicans, they're still gonna be insane no matter what. Is my thought
Mm.
on that. I feel like I need to
I
write this like out to really describe what I'm talking about. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, it does make a lot of sense. It's kind of about managing the risk on our side, right? And that's uh it's like even if this war goes away and Trump is able to like get everything kind of back to what it was before. um I don't think he could, but if like he does somehow, right? And all those Republicans won, it's like, well, look, all the MAGA Republicans won, and now we're in a worse spot. I think even if that is the case, I think it still would be better for the party not to one embrace the populist, like not just the populist rhetoric, but like the actual populist positions, and
Yeah.
also it would be um it would be better for us as like a I do it would just we wouldn't be socialists. We wouldn't be fucking like authoritarian. We would still be liberals at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, it's like signing. I don't want to sign a deal with the devil and have that deal bite me in the ass like 2 years later. Even yeah, like I said, so long as like if we lose right at the end of the situation you listed out, I think we're still would be in a better position to go forward than if we were to do uh the first if we were to engage with the first situation. For yeah, just for from what I said earlier, I think.
Okay.
Mm,
I mean, yeah, I don't really know. That's the thing is this is very new to me. Like I don't know what it looks like yet really for a DSA person to have political power. It could be like in the next 2 years, like, oh, these guys would really, really, really suck. So yeah, maybe this wouldn't be a good path
well,
to go down.
sorry, hold on, just real quick. I mean, the thing is like you'll never like. I mean, you will because you'll actually be able to understand what's being said. But like most people, they think fucking Mamdani balanced the budget, and now that fucking New York doesn't have, or is it New York City, like as a mayor, like he fixed everything in New York, and that's because like he's getting like no combative pushback on like what's happening. He's like, dude, he took out loans on their pension fund or something equivalent like that. Like, so, like, yeah, he balanced the budget, but he's kind of gambling on the future and hoping that the pension funds will increase and be able to like, um, what would be be able to gain whatever he's borrowing right now. And like that's dangerous, but like it's never presented as like a dangerous thing or like a something that might not pay off or something that's risky, but like it's good for the long run. Like I'll even say something like that
I
would be
see what you're
better.
talking
Um, and but everyone's just like he balanced the budget. Oh, and not to mention he ran on a platform of arresting Benjamin Netanyahu, and then like he makes this video saying like, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but the mayor of New York City cannot arrest a fucking foreign leader on anything because guys, I don't have federal power, and I guess that goes to the federal government and not the city of where the UN court is, and I didn't know that, and that just means you have to ask Trump. And it's just like, dude, why? Like that's a campaign promise that you made, but like you're getting no one's being like, oh my god, he did all he could, and but everyone's being like, oh my god, he did all he could, and that's it. It's like, how about like we give him the same criticism that you're giving fucking every Democrat for like any issue ever? Like this is fucking ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, it's the same thing too. That's like a Trump style gimmick of like just blowing smoke at people's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see what you're talking about now with the balancing budget thing. I'm reading this article about right now. Um, yeah, I mean, not good. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to like they do more good than bad, and that's I think I'd have to wait to see the extent of their term in office to know. My feeling is that the policies are going to be, like I said, either milk toast or they're going to be bad, and people will not like that. Is my hope. Um, but at the end of the day, like I still cannot. If it's in a contested area, I can't like I said, if it's not in a contested area, then I understand your point. But if it's in a contested area, I still just think Republicans are worse threat. But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe in 2 years, it'll be really, really bad. But it's hard for me to know. Because I've never. I mean, so socialist candidates in the U.S. is just such a new thing that, at least in our generation, that I don't know what this looks like yet. Really, you see my point? Do you see my issue here?
I
Is that
do.
it's hard for me to know right now. I guess
Yeah. I
because here's the other thing too. These aren't the policies. At least, like I said, you could send me stuff if you think I'm wrong. The policies I'm seeing right now, these are not like crazy ML commie policies. These are just kind of like dumb, like conflating like the government does things with socialism, and like yeah, the rhetoric is like shitty with like when it comes to like the IP stuff. But at the end of the day, like I've never really. I'll tell you straight up, I don't really. If things at home get worse, then I don't care about foreign policy. So like the foreign policy stuff is definitely a secondary thought to me than like what happens actually within our own country. So like if the policies are like kind of whatever, but they're not as bad as like the Trump stuff, then I'm probably going to be more inclined to um still back the DSA candidate. But maybe there will be people that have crazier policies, and I'm sure there are people that would like to do crazier things, and then that
okay.
would be a total no for me. But
Let me just we can after this I think that's enough talking about DSA.
sure.
Or we could just keep talking about it. I don't really both are good.
Well, are we in the video or I don't even know?
I mean I think even though this was kind of very unscripted and we kind of did go through the article, or not the article, the DSA stuff. Like this is I think I could
True,
make
actually, yeah, because you're right. I think you're right too. Because going into this one, when you mentioned that this would be a topic, I was kind of like didn't really know what to comment about it because like I think you know my position pretty well is that like I think the social stuff is usually pretty stupid. The econ policies are just kind of like I don't like rent control or like the government like grocery stores. I don't think this stuff makes much sense. Um, so I'm pretty against them, but I don't see them as being like at least when it's unless it's in a unless it's in a contest or sorry in a non-contested area, I don't see it as like I need to not vote or I need to like vote for the Republican or vote their party. Because I don't know what like long term these policies will do to the areas where these people have power in. So that's kind of like where I'm at. But it seems from talking to you, your position is a lot more aggressive than mine is, where you do see this as a very imminent threat, and so much so that you're even willing to like cede ground to Republicans. If that came down to that, am I wrong in characterizing your position?
no, that's right.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah. Um, okay. I guess just real quick off that. I guess let's say there's a candidate, or I want to see how far you'd be willing to go about the
Okay.
uh as long as they're I don't care about foreign policy if things are get bad at home. If there's like a candidate, it's hard because it's not just one candidate, of course. But like, would you
Sure.
support a candidate that wants to like disable or yeah dismantle NATO? I mean,
That wants to dismantle NATO. And like that was like a something that they could do like reasonably, like within their reach to do it if they were voted in.
um, Give me an answer to both, I guess.
If I knew that like that was they wanted to do that, but like there's no feasible opportunity for them to do it, I would just say sure if they're better than the Republican. But if they did have an ability to actually like do that or form a coalition to do that, then I would say absolutely not because that I mean to me isn't even just like that's just like our nuclear umbrella. I think that um it's another way we project power across the world. So I don't that I think that not to say you're using a terrible well actually yeah you're using a bad example against me because this example actually does directly impact the US in a big way.
Okay.
But if your line of questioning is like how bad would the foreign policy takes have to be for you to switch over? I would say obviously like if it was like the DSA candidate wants to I don't know like invade some country and make it not capitalist or I'm being very hyperbolic, but like if it was something that was like really insane um like they wanted to go do like take private property away from people in other country, make them like a communist satellite state or something to the U.S. or whatnot. I would say like obviously that's ridiculous. I wouldn't vote for that person. Um, but like for something like if a DSA candidate was like, I just don't want to support Israel. I mean if they were better than the Republican on like domestic stuff, I'd probably still vote for them.
Okay. I,
That makes sense.
yeah, I just okay. I say that not necessarily like a bunch of Democrats will do it, right? But like say a DSA candidate wins and like they run on a dismantling NATO or uh just stupid shit like that, right? And
Yeah.
they use the Republican sentiment and the Republicans in office to be like they also want to dismantle NATO because they're like, America pays too much money. We're gonna stop doing that, and they make a coalition with Republicans
Uh,
to dismantle NATO. Like, I don't see that as being a far fetched thing. I think a lot of American sentiment about foreign affairs, one is like, frankly, just fucking stupid and very
yeah.
easily to manipulate. And from there, I go
Yeah.
like, yeah, so they can easily do this shit.
Yeah, so
Right.
the that's what I'm saying about the feasibility. So like I actually don't even know what would the process be. Would we need like 2/3? Would they need like a supermajority to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, 2/3 supermajority.
Yeah, I mean like if it was like yeah, if there was enough DSA candidates that were packed in Congress, and then it was like okay, now we're reaching a point where they could actually reasonably do that, because there would be signaling they would want to do that. I think we agree. Probably wouldn't be like a big secret thing. It probably would be signaling
Yeah.
from yeah. Then yeah, I would say that that's we don't want that, so we probably shouldn't vote for those people. Or no, I'll be stronger. We shouldn't vote for those people at that point. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um.
But it's all. But you see, it's all about the. To me, it's all. It's like balancing a game of probabilities. It's all about the feasibility of something like that. Because people
mm,
in politics say a lot of crazy things all the time. But it's like, do you actually have the power in your position to do that, or like, is there enough people that have similar ideas to you of doing that? Is kind of what I'm thinking about usually.
I understand. I think we could talk about this more at a later point as well, but I
Sure.
think we should really. Um.
The last thing I want to say about this is like this conversation here though is why we just have to be more aggressive in the primaries. Like Democrats have to come out and like actually show up and vote and not let these people take power. Um,
Yeah.
because if the Republicans weren't if there was a like a if a more center right party was in charge, then I definitely would be like just voting for them instead. I think
mm,
actually no, I know for a fact I would.
I would. Um.
Some of these socialist policies are really shitty
Okay.
in my opinion, but
Wait. You don't want to talk about the DSA anymore, right? I feel like we talked about them enough, and I can just use footage from the back end to edit into a video.
yeah, it's up to you. I mean, I don't like I said, I don't really know what else to really
Oh, I just real quick, I guess. I guess Al Saeed won in Michigan. He's not necessarily a DSA candidate, but he's very closely tied with all the DSA people. Um, they'll claim him as one of theirs until he eventually they betray him, I guess. Um, but he he has a lot of work to do. He only won by like one. He won by 1 point in the general, or not the general. He won by 1 point in the primary, and a lot of polling shows that he's down by like 5 points against the Republican just because of, and we might really see that go down or up depending on. I can only really see it going down considering he's kind of is very tied to Hamas Piker, and that guy has said some unhinged shit, and Republicans are not going to be like liberals, and they're going to use every single fucking terrible thing that person has said and um, use that to attack El Sayed, which he already is not winning that much in polling.
Wait, are you telling me that dressing up as Mao and calling Mao a great, one of the great politicians of the world, it's not a positive thing to say?
You know, we'll really see how it plays out in the general, but I don't think it worked out that well for. I don't think it's gonna work out that well for Al Sayed, especially in Michigan, where they do have a large Muslim population, but at the same time, it did go red for Donald Trump in the previous election.
Yep.
As you can see, like these polls, is looking very. He's looking in rough waters. 42% for Al Sayed, 46 for Rogers, and Al Sayed only won by 1 point, which means, and he got 48.5% of the vote. That just means he won the primary with not even a majority of the vote. And you can see here that in his uh, in a face-off against Rogers, he's down currently by 3 points. So even though Stevens has endorsed Al Sayed as the candidate, like he still has to earn a lot of votes from Michigan people, where he was pretty like not receptive to criticism and only talked about APAC, and like the only reason why people don't like him is because of APAC funding, and it's just it leaves a real sour taste in the voters' mouth when that's the way that you're gonna attack your opponent, especially an opponent that you see as like part of your coalition. And I think with the current attacks that he's facing from Republicans, I don't know how he's gonna win the people's vote in Michigan.
Yeah, it's really going to test the durability of DSA candidates when they have to face opposition from a different party, like the Republican Party, especially when some of these DSA candidates, or maybe a lot of them, have the backing of Hassan Piker. And so if you just do, character assassination by um, knowing someone like Hassan, I mean, he says some pretty crazy things. He dressed up as Mao recently and said Mao was a great politician. And, I mean, when you're in a tight race and there's a lot of people in America that don't like socialism or communists, and you throw yourself in that bucket and you have people behind you that say inflammatory things, that rhetoric can easily be used against you. I mean, it's just like politics 101, like just the character assassination is very, very common. And I think I guess we're going to see if it affects his campaign here. So,
Um, Him dressing up as Mao, that's out of context, Brandon. You know it. Uh,
yeah, definitely. I like how there's a video of him going when he's in China, basically ordering the Mao suit. Like, Doug, this is it's so cringe too. God, I hate it.
yeah, and those arguments are not going to work against Republicans because they do one, they don't care if it's out of context, but two, like they're willing, they're just gonna like when you say out of context, if the context is you justifying it or you saying shit like Mao is one of the greatest leaders of our times, like okay, dude, your context is just that you fucking love to suck off Mao. Speaking of DSA candidates, they they don't get the same. It's important to call out that they lose quite often. They just like to cry about like why they lost. Like Bernie did when he's like the election was rigged against Bernie in 16 and in 2020. But Wesley Bell, he beat Cory Bush in Missouri, and I think it's important to call out like he did a good campaign and he won, but these people these DSA type candidates, they'll just cry like APAC or some made up shit about why they lost.
Yeah, I mean, they're mainly winning in these like crazy high blue districts. So, I don't like I said before. when they actually come to elections that are heavily contested, I don't think you'll see these people win as much. Now, for their long term, I guess, durability in the party, I think it really does come down to, when they get in power, like what kind of policies they actually can actually get through, and if the policies are just kind of suck, like I think they're going to, like for Mamdani's, for instance, like for Mamdani, for the like government run grocery stores, I think it's a dumb idea. I just think that these ideas will either be too milk toast to really change the sort of the living conditions of the people that voted for them, and they won't have the same backing, a few years from now, or they'll be disastrous and they'll just lose them elections in the future. And hey, if some of their policies are good, then it is in the best interest of Democrats that are not communists or socialists to co-opt the stuff that works and leave behind the stuff that doesn't work and push for our own um, ideas and separate ourselves from these far left people.
It's important to call out shit like this, that this this Bell win is being seen as like an APAC win or an Israel like Israel lobby like win. It's just so brain dead that like you can say this with a straight face and not take you're off shooting all the criticism that you could uh, take from your loss, and you're just saying it's not my fault. It's I almost said it's the Jews' fault, but that's I mean that's what they're saying. But like they could just say Israel is it Israel's fault that we lost.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has nothing to do with the fact that like I'm a dog shit candidate that doesn't do anything fucking like good. It's just it was Israel's fault. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, it's very weird that the IP issue is like for people that are following the DSA candidate elections. That this is like one of the biggest issues on everybody's mind. Um, uh, yeah, I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. But like I said, we'll see what happens with the ones that do win in these very, once again, heavily blue areas. And I just don't see them being durable in contested races. But I'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, and
I think
off
you're right. The
that,
attack campaigns are going to be crazy.
yeah, they are. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Yep. Thank you.